Look what it did for me.
We are officially now recording. So, yeah. All right. So for those of you guys that don't know what's going on here, so we are coming up on our 10-year anniversary at CrossFit ELM, and that's a big deal for a couple of reasons. Number one, small businesses making it to 10 years is unheard of. It doesn't happen very often. It's like 80% of small businesses close before 10 years. In the CrossFit world, in the micro gym world, most gyms make it about 6 to 7 years before they're either the owner taps out and closes, or they get bought and sold. So there are affiliates around us that have been around as long as we have, and some that have been around longer, but they've been bought and sold multiple times. So being open this long with the same owners in the gym world is a big deal. In fact, around here, there's only one other one, which is cool. So shout out to Serge and Brandon and Courtney. The cool part about this is our gym is like, the good old American story. We legitimately started in my garage. We got affiliated while we were in the garage. We started a little bit before that, so Chad and I can talk about that a little bit, but just the idea of this conversation is these three are the last remaining members from the garage. There's been, lots of folks came out of the garage. Some of them have just moved on to other gyms because they wanted something else, and that's fine. A lot of them, though, have moved, and most of them have moved to Texas.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of them are still CrossFitting. They're just, life took them other places. And so it's just kind of cool to have what I call GCO, Garage Crew Originals. And so we're just going to have a discussion about that. And the idea of this is having this conversation of, like, what does it look like to CrossFit long term? Because a lot of people have this conception of CrossFit that you can't CrossFit long term because you'll get injured, because you'll burn out, because it gets boring or whatever, right? And so that's part of the conversation, but also, like, people should know, like, normal people do CrossFit. It's not you don't have to be a full-time athlete to do this. So yeah, right. Thank goodness for that. Okay, so really quick, we're going to do introductions, and so why don't we go in order of length of time? So, sir, you get to start.
Chad Newman, been with Brandon since essentially October of 2010, and started this when I was 39. So there's proof that you can start at any time, and been with them ever since.
Yeah, we started pre-garage as personal training.
The WOD Club.
The WOD Club. That's right.
Sir, I think he's hurting himself. He's fine.
All right.
Doesn't work.
You're next.
Laura Richardson, and I'll be here 10 years, November 1st.
That's awesome.
And I started, I guess, when I was 51.
There you go.
So,
boom.
Hey.
And then we come to the opposite end of the spectrum.
Yeah. Michelle Emig, and I started in 2014, so I've been here 8 years, and Murph was my first workout, which is great. And I guess that would have made me, 20? I was in the middle of college.
Were you already in college at that point?
Yeah, I was in college.
Okay.
Yeah.
For tennis.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So there you go. So you started at 20, you started at 39, you started at 51. So age does not matter. So if you think you're too old or too young, the answer is no, you are not. Just get started. The other things, so the other stuff I want to talk about, so I guess the next question is why do you CrossFit? Like, what made you come, and what made you go, yeah, this is what I want to do to stay in shape? Let's go first.
Why did I come? I just originally it was deciding to get into fitness, try and do some of the different goals that I had. Originally do the boulder, then got into the Spartan races, then I guess, ongoing pursuit of just fitness and wanting to be fit and not liking where I'm at. And then I got addicted to it. And then I started listening to you, and then we started having bad ideas together. And then I stuck around.
Yeah.
And and then you get funny things like fit people are harder to kill. You can outrun the ones that'll go first. It's
The zombie apocalypse.
yeah.
Prep
So
for the zombie apocalypse.
Yeah, it's over time. It's like I said, the community. Ultimately, to some degree, on the other hand, it is excellent therapy. It's the addiction to the high after.
Yeah. I can see that.
And the addiction to the high after, though, is also what is most beneficial for like your mental health and therapy and that kind of stuff of your dopamine rush, and you feel better, you feel relaxed, you feel more positive. You feel a lot more confident. There's a bit of confidence involved. And even if you're not getting to where you would like to be, the fact that you're actually doing something with your best effort is at least letting yourself know that you're doing all that you can to achieve what you want, and maybe what you want isn't exactly where you need to be, but you're where you should be.
Yeah. What about you, Laura?
I did not want to come.
That's right.
Time,
I remember
kicking and
this.
screaming in the car. I came with my husband, but I still remember the first workout, and I don't know, we were doing back. I should know the name of these things after 10 years. Back squats, and I just hear these people behind me going, "Yeah, you can do it, Laura." I'm like, who are they? It's like,
who are you, and why are you talking to me?
Cheering me on. So, and like Chad said, you just get addicted to it. It was family and community, and it just pushes you to the limits. Maybe there in the garage, it pushed a lot to the limits.
That's true. In the early days, we didn't know that much about scaling. We just did.
I don't even think there was a scale, but and it does, and just you get proud of yourself, and it's against yourself, and like Brandon was saying, it's not a bunch of athletes in there, all puffed up and stuff. We're just normal people that I like to call us misfits. So and it's family, it's community, and it's accountability. Because if you're not here, then you're gonna get a phone call and
somebody's texting you and be like, "Hey, where you at?"
Seen you. So and you definitely get addicted to it too.
Yeah, for sure. I would say that's been a huge thing for me. Like, as long as I've done this, you get addicted to that feeling. Even at, like, when we repeat workouts, like, even if you don't beat your score, that feeling of like, I just conquered that. Like, it's not even that you just survived it. I just conquered that workout. And
it's against yourself,
so
not
addictive.
the other person. You're not like trying to beat Chad. That's the other thing I love about it. It's yourself. You're trying to.
A lot of self-talk. Yeah. What about you, Michelle?
So I knew that I wanted to come and do CrossFit before I did. I had a friend who'd been inviting me for over a year, and I said no, because as soon as I start, I'm not going to stop. I was in the middle of being a college athlete and just knew that like that kind of a competitive environment was right up my alley.
Yeah.
So the Murph event was when I finally got persuaded to come. I had another friend who also came with, so that helped.
Yeah.
I remember showing up and walking up, and you were like, "Okay, I know that you guys are tennis players, but I don't know anything else about your fitness. Will you like do a squat for me so we can kind of evaluate what you should be doing. Like I could tell you were like, I don't know, this is not the workout I would start somebody on. Yeah, so we actually ended up doing half Murph that day, which is still a lot for your first
workout.
Yeah. But like you said, here because of the community, here because I mean, I think my coworkers are probably really thankful that I go to CrossFit. My first year after college, I like would start races at work all the time with people to do work faster because I just needed like a competitive outlet. And they were like, I don't function this way. Like, what's wrong with you? So yeah, once I got into the routine of doing it and competing against myself, like it was a way healthier way to experience being competitive because I was used to trying to beat people in tennis. And now I was just trying to do my best every day. Right. So yeah, I mean, that's many reasons. Yeah, it's addicting, the community, like you said, and I'm the kind of person that loves it.
Yeah, that's good. Right, next one. What were you most afraid of when you first started CrossFit? If there was something.
People.
The
people in who was going to be there, because my idea of CrossFit was people that were, totally in shape. And that wasn't me.
We had a member for a while, and she said, "I thought CrossFit was a bunch of crazy psycho athletes."
Yes, it is. Yeah, they're just in all different shapes and sizes.
That's right. Yeah,
there wasn't. But then again, I kind of got eased into it.
Yeah, we had a different
before
experience.
We found out about, Pukey the Clown, Uncle Rabdo, just note my time if I pass out.
Yeah. Well, and it's, too, like for you, it was a different experience because it was just like, hey, I found this CrossFit thing and I want to try it out. Do you want to try it out with me?
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Like it was way different. Like, and it was also different then because CrossFit was still really new. Mm-hmm. There wasn't a lot of resources out there as far as like coaching it or like how do you build a client base? How do you build a gym? Like there wasn't a ton of info about that stuff. So we were just kind of flying by the seat of our pants.
Right. It was organized workouts following, kind of the general mantra that, they had, but yet at the time, it was, at least to my view, it was more individual athletes that had a day job. It was, the garage was the box. Mm-hmm. You had, it was to me, to some degree, while for everybody and universally scalable, but it was also really almost kind of like a brutal underground blood sport. And like I said, you've got all the original programming that I gave you. You look at that now and where it's come from, and it's different. While CrossFit hasn't gotten easier, I think it definitely has softened itself as a brand, because it was really, it
was a hero, like heroes and hero workouts all the time. So
right,
everything
the
was
heroes
just
or the ladies, or it was fitness brutality, but could be adapted to anybody willing to weather the storm.
That's a really good description of that. Yeah.
I didn't think I was afraid of anything, but then as you were talking, I realized there was one thing. I was afraid of how much it was going to cost, which was part of why I didn't actually want to come, because I knew I was going to want to keep doing it. I worked at Jimmy John's. I made $7.76 an hour,
right,
like over the summer. And that was it. That was the entirety of my money I made every year. And I was like, I'm going to put all of it to CrossFit. And that was back in the garage when you were not charging CrossFit prices. And so I just didn't know, what's that going to look like when I graduate? What if I don't get a job out of college? And there's this thing that I really want to do, and it's a large chunk of all of my money. And every once in a while, I still feel that fear. I think that's really natural for people, because it is a large commitment. But I'm glad that I have to make that large commitment because it makes me show up. Because it's like,
That's
man,
fair.
if I didn't, yeah, like, oh, I'm wasting a lot of money right now, just not showing up. And then two, like you've said this before, what is the cost going to be on the back end if you don't take care of your
Right.
health? And
Mhm.
like, there's no category for that. And like that to me is way more scary. And, it's something that I love. And it's been an exercise in investing in myself, because it's really easy to be like, okay, I'm just going to make it through the bills and like, that's it. But, this forces you to take care of yourself. And
Yeah. Well, I think that's a huge part of the conversation. So just in the last week or so, this little piece of data popped up in front of me. So 15% of Americans have a gym membership, which at first glance, you're like, really, only 15%? Like, wow. But if you're not in the gym world, like, people look at that and go, yeah, that's probably about right. And so then, okay, so there's 15%. Of that 15% that have gym memberships, only 6% of those people use it for more than 6 weeks per year. And a lot of that has to do with most of those gym memberships are at gyms where it's like 10, 20, 30, 40 bucks a month.
Right.
And for a lot of people that have those gym memberships, it's a subscription that they don't even think about. It doesn't register. So then they don't go. And so they have this gym membership. And then to your point, they're not spending the time, like they're spending the money, but they're not spending the time to invest in themselves physically. And so they have this gym membership, but then on the back end of it, they still have to deal with high cholesterol and type 2 diabetes and heart disease and like all of these other things because they didn't utilize the thing that they were paying for.
Yeah.
So yeah, like, and people talk about that all the time. It's like, why is CrossFit so expensive? Where else are you going to get a place that during your class, you're coached through the whole class, so you have a trainer anyway. And then on top of that, like that kind of investment, like gets your attention when it hits the bills.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so, oh shoot, I'm paying for this gym membership. I have to go. Like I need to go because I'm not going to waste this money.
Right.
Right. And
Yeah.
so it really does like, and you do see it a little bit, like the first like week of every month, like that bill hits and people are here a little bit more regularly for the first week.
That's funny.
But yeah,
or like it hit me one day. Okay, so I've got friends who are paying for a personal trainer and they're spending this much every week to go once for an hour. Like there are days, especially in those first few years, where I was here by myself, I don't know, 3 times a week.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know, that's just an amazing like opportunity. And even, I mean, the classes are small enough that it still's that way even when other people are here. So,
and that's the thing is even in a class of 8, 10, I don't know if you go much over to 12 or 10, you have such a varying degree of experience that those that really need it are able to get kind of on the fly directed focus, while the others just kind of get the glance, okay, they're not dying, okay, back to these people. And so you are almost getting a semi individual experience even in a class. So,
and I have a feeling that's one of the things that's unique about CrossFit ELM. Like, I don't know that every CrossFit gym functions that way, but it seems to me that that's something you guys have been intentional about.
Building. And we've actually had conversations with that about like, because the CrossFit owner community is pretty small, right? And so I've had conversations with other owners, and the perspective I come from, like a lot of people that start CrossFit gyms, they went to a CrossFit gym and loved it so much that they wanted to start their own. So they went and they took the level 1 and they broke away and they started their own gym. That was not my experience. My experience was I was a personal trainer first. Like I had a degree in exercise science. I had traditional certifications. And then when I was introduced to CrossFit, when I was first introduced to it, like I made fun of it because I was like, well, that's dumb. You're going to hurt people. And then when I actually started following it and doing it, I was like, oh no, there's some intent here. Let me dive into this. And then I got my level 1 and I was like, oh my gosh, this is really great. And it gives me as a trainer an opportunity to step into opening my own gym with a really low barrier to entry. Because I had helped open other small chain gyms. And I knew like the gyms that I helped open, The cheapest gym we opened, the owner spent $270,000 to open.
Wow.
And it's just like that. Who can do that? You know,
Right.
CrossFit comes in and they're like, hey, you can start a gym for like 15 grand, maybe. And I don't even think our first batch of equipment, I think, was 7 or 8 grand. Like it was really inexpensive. So it gave me a chance to step from trainer to CrossFit coach. And that's where that comes from, is like, we have really intentional caps on our classes so that the coaching quality is still there. And so that it is unique to us in that kind of focus and that kind of intent comes from my background as a one-on-one trainer. That's where I cut my teeth. And then we still offer that here. And all of my coaches, like, not everybody loves doing it, but I try to get them to do, like, you need to do some one-on-one stuff so that you understand what that feels like, because it's going to happen. There's going to be classes where it's like a Friday night and one person shows up. It just happens. It's a way different dynamic when it's you and one other person versus you and 9 other people. And so, like, you need to be able to do that really well. And having one person to focus on for a full hour, it makes you a way better trainer. And so, like, it wasn't intentional. It wasn't an intentional build in. It's just where it came from. And then once we noticed that was a difference for our gym, because we visited other gyms and we're like, maybe we should make this the thing that differentiates us. And so you're to that point. Yeah, it's become an intent, but it didn't start that way. So
Remember when we were so excited when we finally got plates?
oh yeah, when we got
We
bumpers.
finally still got the bumpers.
Oh
So it's-
gosh.
Yeah, when we finally got bumpers, I loaded all the bumpers out of the car.
Yeah, that's
Loaded
so
back
that's so
up.
we can talk about that for just a second. So when we started this, so I got my certification and I hadn't applied for an affiliate yet. And we were working out inside of the gym where I was working, where Chad was a client. And the owner of that chain said, hey, you can't do this in the gym anymore because it's scaring the other clients. And I'm like, we're just working out. This is a gym. This is what it's supposed to be. She's like, yeah, no, you can't do it anymore. So we moved to a park that was right by the gym that we were working out at. But the park was owned by an HOA. And so I would literally every single day, I had 2 portable squat racks that I would take apart and put in the back of my Jeep. And then a couple of barbells and a bunch of bumper plates and kettlebells. And I would throw them all in the back of the Jeep, drive to the park, build the squat racks, get all the bars and plates out.
Oh my gosh.
And we would do the workout in the park and then take it all apart, put it back in the Jeep. And then the HOA came along one day and were like, hey, you guys can't do that in here. We're like, this is a park. What do you mean we can't do that here? They're like, yeah, no, you can't do that here. And that's how we landed in the garage. I was like, well, I guess I'll rearrange my garage. So yeah, that was.
But yeah, it was when we got the wall balls, or 2, and then yeah, you got a few plates so we could actually drop them and stuff. And then yeah, on Saturdays that scared the meek and small animals.
Yeah, it did.
But it was so fun.
It was
fun having the bros come over and try and just go back to having a beer break.
Oh man, that was funny. I remember we had a little bucket of chalk and inside of this gym, and we were doing I think we were doing cleans that day. So we're over there doing cleans, and then this guy was working out doing bench press on a Smith machine, which is it's a barbell that's actually locked into the rack. So it's not really going to slip. It's not going anywhere. And he comes over and he's like, hey man, can I use some of your chalk? I'm like, yeah, man, go for it. And he chalks up and goes over and does bench press on the Smith machine. I was like, oh bro, you need to come hang out with us.
You're gonna curl the squat rack next, aren't you? You're gonna curl.
So what when you first started, what was your primary goal? What did you want to get out of this whole CrossFit fitness thing?
Just get in shape. I was really out of shape and getting older. And Yeah. And I've never stuck with anything for longer than 6 weeks.
Yeah. That's what Brad,
3 months maybe.
yeah, Brad, your husband and I have had that conversation. And he often tells me, he's like, I can't believe my wife is still working out with you. She did, you do like sweating to the oldies for like 8 weeks or whatever, like,
Right.
Better Bodies or whatever, all those different places
Billy
for like
Blanks.
Billy Blanks. Yeah. For like 3 months.
Right.
And then that's it. And then it would stop and it would go back. And yeah, so
Right.
that's,
Yeah.
yeah.
Plus, my family history and stuff, it's like, okay, gotta get shape.
Yeah.
Just get moving.
Yeah.
Got to stay moving.
That's a huge part of that.
You got to stay.
You have to stay
moving.
The human machine was built to move. The society at large right now is so sedentary. It's so bad for us.
Mm-hmm. That's how you have people in their 20s that act like they're in their 80s and people in their 80s that act like they're in their 20s. Keep moving.
Yep.
Yeah.
Keep moving. Stay young.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever doesn't kill you, you register for next week.
That was, the early days of Spartan Race.
Oh, yeah.
The bottom of the waiver in really big print says, you may die. Yeah, whatever. Sign it
whatever.
anyway.
Yeah, exactly. But it is. I mean, my biggest thing was to, I guess, the always kind of unreachable goal of, feeling I should be a lot stronger than I was, a lot slimmer than I was, and a lot of it was probably more mental than physical. And so I think for this was unknowing at the time was the, I guess, mental awakening, the installation of the mental confidence and toughness to realize that how you physically look is no way connected to how you mentally are. And if you're mentally functioning on the level you want to, then you can, kind of physically do, what needs to be done.
Right.
So that, and I'd have bad ideas and act on them.
I
have bad ideas. Want to do a marathon? Sure.
I didn't have a goal when I started, I don't think. And I often don't have the goal other than to show up and give it my best any given day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's a hidden secret for a lot of people that step into fitness. Like there are people that step in and it's like, dude, I have to lose weight. I have to be healthier because my family history. But I really think there's a huge section of us that are just like, I just want to work out. I just want to exercise. I want to take care of my body. I don't, and that's the end of the list. Like I don't have to have a mile time or a deadlift weight or it doesn't matter. Like none of it matters as long as I'm moving and feeling good. Yeah. So with those initial goals, so what do you think were the big roadblocks or the big like tripping stones? Like when you got started and then fell off and got started and fell off, like what were those things that were like, that felt like they always got in the way?
For me, it was just, I guess, not lack of support, but I guess the community per se, the support network, while the family, was always supportive over the years. It was always just kind of me doing my thing. My going to the gym and exercising, or my, the eating healthy, or, it's just going from, kind of the adolescence of always kind of pursuing that to then, just growing. It just always was the on your own. And then I think where the CrossFit and even the WOD Club and stuff worked out was now you have a community, and it's the community. And because even now, trying to, work out and do a lot of this stuff, on my own on the road is a lot tougher than coming in and doing the exact same thing with the herd.
Yeah, but we talked about that. That was a huge thing that happened over COVID. So during the initial shutdown, we got shut down for 8 weeks. And when we came back, almost every single person on the first day when they walked back in, they looked at me and said something to the fact of, I don't care what you have to do not close again.
Mhm.
You have to figure out a way to stay open. Because being around these people is a huge, huge benefit. Like, we were doing workouts together over Zoom, and that was fun and that was cute, but it wasn't the same.
Right.
Being in physical proximity with people who are doing the same hard things that you are doing is a massive, massive difference.
Right.
And you wouldn't think so, like, because you always see it, like, everybody's like, you need like the P90X or the Billy Blanks or whatever, and you just do it in your living room, right? Well, one of the big hiccups to that is, like, nobody, like, even if you have a workout buddy, like, that only goes so far. Because then if one of you bunks out,
There's a lot of times I go, if I was doing this at home by myself, I would have done 2 rounds.
and then I'm out, I'm done.
Yeah. So it's just the accountability with the people.
Yeah.
You can't quit.
Yeah,
It's the herd mentality,
yeah,
but it's a good herd mentality.
right.
But it's if you don't have the herd, if you don't have the community, you're not going to push as hard. And even though you're not necessarily in competition with somebody, let's face it, you peg certain people that you're close to, and you're racing.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Whether anyone besides me wants to admit this, you peg people that are generally in your area, and you have to beat them.
Oh yeah,
But
absolutely.
It's a good thing.
Yeah, but it's a friendly level of competition, right. And it's what makes everybody better. It's like, oh, you got me on that one. I'm gonna have to get you next time. And it's this friendly back and forth within this pot of like shared misery for 5 to 25 minutes for the most part, right? Like, it's the warm up, it's the cool down, but the actual working portion of this, which is something we always talk about, Laura, is like the number of people that you talk to, you're like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired from their workout. Well, how long did you work out? 7 minutes. They're like, what?
Exactly.
Trust me.
But it's You're like, listen, all right. But it's that within that pot of like that shared hardship during the workout, because it's hard. I don't care what variation of this you're doing. It's hard for you. It's relative intensity for you. So like the person, like today's a great example. Our workout today was run a mile, and then we had some other stuff afterwards. But it was all within a 14-minute clock. Well, not everybody has a fast enough mile to be able to do the run and the other work. So we had to adjust that a little bit. But the relative intensity was the same. Everybody kind of finished their assigned run at about the same time with about the same level of fatigue on their face. And so now everybody's coming in, and like you feel like you're the only one sucking wind, and you look around and like the person who finished fastest is also sucking wind. You're like, okay, I feel a little bit better about this now. Let's keep going, but then it's that you finish right next to somebody and you're like, no, not letting you beat me. And then it makes you push.
Right.
Whereas if you're at home, like you might push a little, maybe, but not likely.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. So fast forward, we're now 8, 10, 12 years deep into this craziness. What's most important to you now about like how CrossFit applies to the rest of your life?
To me, it's just the continuation of knowing what I have to do to, I guess, ensure, longevity. It's trying to, well, I mean, to some degree, it's, I guess I'm in denial of my age. I'm not gonna, I know chronologically how old I am, and I'm still probably mentally in my teens. And I feel that after some of the things I do, but you're only as old as you really feel. And though to function that way, you have to functionally be able to do that.
Yeah.
And that's this, and it can work with any type of, fitness, but to me, it's the sport of fitness.
Yeah.
Get a plug for that.
CrossFit is a
It's
sport.
the sport of fitness.
It's a method and it's a sport.
I remember that first came out, everyone's like, well, you do fitness as sport? Yeah.
Yeah. And it makes it fun.
It does make it fun.
It gamifies what we do.
Right. But it is. Everyone, likes playing games. Well, why should this be any different?
Mm-hmm.
It is. It's just, it's really the enabler to, my staying childlike while trying to avoid being childish.
I love that.
It's tough. It's tough.
What about you,
Yeah,
Laura?
I think it's such a part of my life now that I don't think of not doing it in years to come, or I need to keep doing it.
Yeah.
It's just part of what the word is. It's just,
becomes part of your identity.
yeah, it's part of what
But
I
you
do.
don't identify by it.
Yeah, and
You're the burpee queen
and, and I couldn't imagine not doing it.
Mhm.
So, and I have to continue doing it, or I'm just going to get old. And I even get frustrated because I have goals. Like I wanted before my actual 10-year anniversary to do a pull up and to do that. I get frustrated sometimes when I get hurt, or not really hurt, but something hurts.
Right.
It's
You
like,
get those little tweaks.
So then I think, oh my gosh, I've ripped and tore something because I'm so old. And Brandon's like, no, just stretch right there. Oh, okay. That releases that.
Oh, okay.
I haven't ripped my knee out or something, but
right.
I could imagine not doing it. And then, like when we're talking about the price and all that, it's like my husband goes, "What's the cost of an ambulance coming, to pick you up or whatever for like the long term?"
Yeah.
Because I might not be fast, but I still want to be fast and faster.
Yeah.
So as long as that works, I get frustrated when I'm not faster than I was, but I'm getting older. But I'm trying not to let that get in the way. Because you see 80-year-olds.
Yeah. I think that's a huge part of that conversation. Is there's a lot of people that they see the stuff that we do and they think you have to be young to do it. It's like, no. The goal here is to leverage this so that when you're 80, when you're 90, like we're still doing stuff like this. It may not be on the same level, right? Your body will eventually slow down. It will eventually get to a place where like, like your 300-pound deadlift is probably not going to happen at 90 years old, but you're still deadlifting and you're still moving. And those are the things, like if you look at the people that make it into their 90s and even the centenarians, right? The thing that sets them apart is that they move all the time. And so to your point, it's like, find something that you're going to do and keep you moving. CrossFit's great because it incorporates movements that are essential to life: squatting, jumping, pulling, pushing, but in a way that's accessible for just about anybody.
Right.
So you're in a different spot.
I am in a different spot.
Yeah, you're not 30 yet.
Yeah, no, I'm 28.
Yep.
Yeah.
And so just to put this out there, because this is just fun for me. You just got married.
I did. Yep.
So that's fun.
Yeah.
So you have a whole nother, this is like a whole new section of life adventure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. But I think there's been a shift that's happened in the last couple of years. Like all of a sudden I started hitting more PRs than I thought was even possible. And I'd show up and I don't know, I'm not always sore after every workout. And it's not because I don't push, it's like my body has actually adapted to doing this. And like, I remember those first few years, like I couldn't walk up and down stairs a lot of the time. And it is rare for me to experience that on pistol squat days. Like that's going to happen because that's just what happens. But like, yeah, in the last 2 years, I've started to say, okay, what I eat impacts how well I'm able to perform, even if I didn't know that that's what was happening like prior to that. And maybe it wasn't happening as much when I was in my early 20s, but I'm not in my early 20s anymore. And so I've started like tweaking the things that I eat. Like I'm not addicted to sugar anymore, which is amazing, but it has been like a 3-year, okay, I should probably move in this direction, like kind of thing. And yeah, so continuing to tweak that. I'm not the kind of person that's going to be like, all right, I'm going to start a radical diet and keep it forever. Like, that's just not who I am. But like slowly just shifting the things that I'm eating and like watching it just create PRs at the gym that I didn't know were coming. Like, I think that's the shift that I'm making here now. And I don't know, there's like crazy cool things I want to do. My husband keeps telling me I need to do the rim to rim to rim with him in the Grand Canyon. And he thinks that the way to like be ready to do that, it's 42 miles or so and like 10,000 vertical. He thinks you just have to go out and walk a bunch to be able to do it. And like part of me wants to prove that no, you don't have to. Like you can do it if you do CrossFit kind of thing. And I don't know, just like things like that. Or yeah, being able to do more toes to bar, being able to do more pull-ups, being able to lift more weight, being able to run a little bit faster. I don't know, those kinds of things.
Well, I think you bring up a good point too, is that kind of innate in CrossFit is this constant conversation about what does your diet look like. You know, the guy that started CrossFit, Greg Glassman, you know, he wrote a really elegant piece of literature. It's world-class fitness in 100 words. Yeah. And that 100 words starts with eat meat and vegetables, nuts and seeds, some fruit, little starch, and no sugar. And the no sugar part is no added sugars, right? Keep intake at levels that support exercise, but not body fat. So he breaks it down and keeps it really simple, right? But if you want to be really fit, it starts with what you eat. Yeah. And so it's always a conversation, and it isn't always a focus. And in a CrossFit gym, ours included, like you'll have over the year, like you'll have a nutrition challenge or here or there or different things, because even those of us that are paying attention to what we eat, like, dude, you fall off the wagon a little bit, you know, you come into summer, and for some people, summer is beers, margaritas, and barbecues, you know? So for some people, summer is fine for them. They do really good staying fit and like smart food, but then they get into the holidays and it's cookies and candies and all of that stuff. And so like having those little challenges, those little sprint things where, hey, this is just a reminder, you have to pay attention to your food. It's a part of what CrossFit is. And that doesn't live everywhere in the fitness space. Like in most places in the fitness space, you know, working out sits over here and what you eat sits over here. And it's rare that you'll get somebody that talks about how what you eat affects how you exercise, you know? And so the CrossFit ecosystem is built so it's like a constant reminder of like, you come in and you do a workout and you feel like crap. It's like, well, hey, what did you eat last night? Oh yeah, I went out and I had 6 beers last night. That probably was part of the problem today. You know, or it's like, oh yeah, I was at the cabin all weekend and we ate, you know, processed food out of a cup and packaged cookies all weekend. Like you feel that, you know? And so
I'm laughing because I've done Taco Tuesday with my coworkers after work, had a couple margaritas and shown up here and worked out. And we've done like box jumps and like all sorts of crazy stuff. And like I survived. I haven't puked. I'm in the I haven't puked yet club, but like, yeah. No, it totally impacts, especially when it's right before.
Yeah, that's true. Margaritas right before your workout. A little shady.
Yeah.
Or making those little good decisions. Maybe just one. Yeah. Over long period of time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it doesn't have to be all or nothing. Like, oh, I'm going to bring my lunch. Like I did that the other day. It's like, we went to get our hair cut, and I'm like, well, instead of going out to lunch, because it's hard to find a good place, I brought it, and we went and had a picnic.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, that choice. Now later, maybe I can have blah, blah, blah.
Mhm.
But I didn't have that and that,
Mhm.
Right.
you know, but over long, good decisions, if that makes sense.
Right. And it like over time, it makes an impact.
Yeah.
So last kind of couple of questions here so we can keep this from going like 2 hours.
I
We
also
could,
have a question.
yes.
Yeah, that I want to ask.
Okay. So go ahead.
But
We'll do
okay,
that.
either
Go
way,
ahead.
fine.
Go ahead.
Most difficult day at CrossFit, and then like most triumphant. Yes, that was amazing day at CrossFit.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yes,
I can start every day.
Yes.
Yeah,
that's the
That's
answer.
fair.
Yes.
that's fair.
Well, then why don't you start? Yeah.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Most difficult, we did Clovis,
Oh
which
my
is
God.
running 10 miles and doing
Never speak of that
150
again.
burpees.
That was.
Oh,
Yeah.
my word.
It was the
I
4th of July a couple years ago.
Yeah, it
that
was
we
the
did
4th of July. I was training for a half marathon, and I was like, if I can do Clovis, I can do a half marathon. And yeah, the half marathon was easier. For sure. Hands down. I mean, I cramped on we broke it up. We ran a mile and then did 15 burpee pull-ups and
Yep.
did 10 rounds. But on that 9th mile, I cramped. Like over here on the street, I had to walk in, and like, you don't quit at 9 miles. Like,
No.
I was like, I don't even think I could jump. And Brandon's like, should you be jumping? And I was like, well, it's part of the workout, so I guess I have to, like, kind of thing. But I finished. I didn't beat Joe, dang it. But I was gonna beat him. But yeah, that was the most difficult for sure. Most triumphant was in an open. I was over here, and like I got a handstand push-up in the middle of one of the workouts, and it was just like so exciting because I decided to go RX, and I was like, I know I'm gonna hit like that point where the next thing you have to do is a handstand push-up, and I can't. But I guess I'll just see if the adrenaline's running. And I like had 2 failed attempts, and then Mark was like, all right, you got 20 seconds. Like, what are you gonna do? And I was like, I'm gonna try again. That's what I'm gonna do. And I got it, and it was so exciting. Like, I didn't care what my score was. Like, I did something that I knew was way outside of my abilities.
If I had to answer that, like from a coach's perspective, those things and those days, like I leave the gym, even just thinking about it, like it makes me emotional. Like when I see our people do things, like the one that sticks out in my mind is TJ's muscle up.
Yeah.
When she got her first bar muscle up. I have never seen a human being so joyful over a movement in my life. Like she broke down in tears, and it is burned into my brain. And it's the same thing, like people getting first pull-ups and first handstand push-ups and first RX on a workout. Like we write that stuff down and we try to keep track of that stuff. And it's like as I write that stuff down, or as I cut that video, like it's like as a coach, that's more important to me than anything else. Like I love watching people hit those little benchmarks. Like, you know, we just did a video a couple months ago with Dave. That man has lost 160 pounds or something crazy like that. Like I will celebrate that till the ends of the earth. Like that is just the coolest thing to see. So for me, like triumph days as a coach, those are those days. And it like, oh yeah. But I might be with you. Clovis is up there, man. Oh, that was rough.
Yeah.
Yikes. I think Murph, a whole Murph.
Yeah.
The first time you did the full Murph?
Yeah, that was hard. I remember in my mind there is a time something was really hard and I ended up crying or whatever, but I can't remember what it is. But one of my achievements was doing the double unders in the open.
Yeah.
Yes.
I didn't get that far in, but I did all the double.
That's exciting.
So
you did all the double unders, damn it.
Yeah. Not all in a row.
Yeah.
But you got them all.
3.
Yeah.
3. But yeah, so yeah, that was an accomplishment.
Yeah. But do you have any of those?
There's so many. It's just, and sometimes it can be the same day.
Agreed.
And, you know, and I mean, you have some days that I guess are routine per se. And then but yet at the same time, there's hero workouts that I look forward to doing even though I know it's just like running into a brick wall.
Yeah. I know I'm going to do this.
It's like-
I know it's going to hurt.
But yet some of the
we're
hard,
going.
you know, I guess some of the things
Send
you
it.
go back on is, yeah, like that one time I did do Clovis with you guys. I think I got the 10 miles in,
Mhm.
but I only got like 5 of the burpee pull-ups because on like number 6 or 7, I went to jump and everything went, no.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Your calves cramped up and we couldn't
Yeah.
get them to release. I
And that
remember
was,
that.
and that
now,
was
yeah.
nothing. So essentially, I didn't finish.
Yeah.
Right.
But
yeah, so
you still got
but
10
that's-
miles and 143
But-
burpee pull-ups.
Right, but but that's kind of the thing though, is best day, hardest day, best day. I did this essentially. Hardest day, I didn't finish it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, did I quit? No, my body's, you're not stopping, so we're gonna be the adult in the situation.
Yeah.
But so yeah, like the answer is yes.
Well, and I think all those hard things prepare you to do stuff like I did things I never thought I was gonna do,
Oh,
like a
yeah.
Spartan race.
Mhm.
You know, I actually went to the doctor to make sure I wasn't gonna have a heart attack climbing up the mountain. Make sure my heart was okay before I did that. I would never done that. Would have never, I ran a 5K, would have never done that. Did the incline, would have never done that.
Did a 14er?
Did a 14er. Yeah, that was one of mine.
Yeah.
And didn't have a heart attack.
You did have a mild panic attack at the
Yes,
top though.
I
Are we
did.
gonna fall? We're gonna fall.
Yes.
We're not gonna
I'm
fall.
afraid of heights. Just start. Yeah.
But if you
So
do,
goes
enjoy the
well.
ride down.
Yeah.
Make the best
Brandon,
of the
you're gonna carry
situation.
me down.
Okay.
You've been here the whole time. What's your answer?
So as an athlete, so my most triumphant is really recent. So there's a work in the world of CrossFit. You have the ladies, and they're workouts that are set workouts that are benchmark workouts to mark progress. And it's my favorite workout because it's a pair of movements that I am very, very, very good at. It's deadlifts and handstand push-ups. My fastest time ever was dead on 4 minutes. And no matter how hard I tried, I could not crack the 4-minute barrier. I just couldn't do it. And then I turned 40 and we tested it maybe January, February of this year. And I got 336. And I was like, oh! And because I was just in this place where like so many people in my life would be like, well, just wait till you turn 40. And so far, I'm 7 months into being 40 and I've done nothing but PR.
Yeah.
Like bigger lifts, faster times, more reps. Another huge one this year was, this might've been before my 40th, but there's a workout called Cindy. 5 pull-ups, 10 push-ups, 15 squats, and you loop that for 20 minutes. I could not get past 18 rounds. And a 20-round Cindy is like a major benchmark in the CrossFit world. And I cracked 20 rounds. One time. I did it once.
Yeah.
I don't care. I did it once.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, oh, that
Same
felt so
thing.
good.
Yeah.
Climbed 14, one and done.
Yep.
Like that might never happen again,
Yeah.
but I did it once.
Yes,
Damn
that's
it.
right.
Toughest day.
When I
toughest
made
day.
you do triple unders for that workout.
That was hard.
I'm just kidding.
I'm gonna, as dumb as it was, we decided to test out and we tackled a workout called Atalanta from the 2020 CrossFit Games. And I mean, like all of those people on the elite edge, like the 10 athletes that got to do it, Castro, the announcers, like all of them were like, do not do this in your gym. It is stupid. It's stupid. We're doing this to put these guys through an intentional test. Don't do this in your gym. And what I heard was, go do this in your gym. And so we just had a random like Saturday, and I was like, hey, if you guys want to come do this with me, come do it with me. But please do not feel pressure to come and do this with me. This is going to be done. And it was. Clovis was hard.
Mhm.
Atalanta was a different level of brutal. It was just brutal. And it was super, super hard. I'm glad I did it, but man, in the middle of that, did I want to quit. And it was because it included a movement I suck at, pistols.
Yeah.
There's 200 weighted pistols. It was so hard. And I did not I didn't think I was going to finish 200 pistols. And I got to 100 and I really wanted to cry and quit. I was like, no, I'm done. I don't want to do this anymore. But I got through them and I was like, all right, 300 pull-ups. This is going to suck, but whatever. I just did 200 pistols. How bad can this be?
Yeah.
So I think that was my hardest. We have a truck. It's being noisy. So now I've lost my track of my thought.
You're gonna ask us something else.
Oh yeah. So as we pursue life forward, do you guys have what's the why that keeps you CrossFitting? And it's the why that no matter what, even if you stop CrossFitting, you're going to keep pursuing fitness. What's that for you?
Just for me, it's just the never-ending drive. For I guess the confidence that I felt when I was at my peak doing this, and now it's the battle to get back to it and maintain it again. It feels good.
Yeah. Chasing that feeling, feeling alive.
It just feels good. And even though you have the reality of, you're not going to be back to here or there, or, maybe be able to cut the weight back to what you want again. Just coming as much as possible and being present and doing, is realistically becoming more of, the goal, as opposed to really anymore having the other goals.
Right.
Twofold. I really do believe it's the best form of fitness. I mean, I've done tons of sports in my life. I had trainers while I was doing that who were trying to make the tennis team better. And the two of us that came to do CrossFit were the only ones who were actually able to handle it. And it actually helped our game. We were able to serve harder. We were able to run longer. I actually believe it's the best form of fitness. And then I know what happens when I don't. I went on a 2-week trip, and for the first couple of days I was trying, it was during a squatting challenge or something, so I was trying to do the squats, trying to go walk. I quit after 3 days, and my emotions just totally took a dive, and I started feeling lethargic and much more tired and grumpier and all. I know what happens if I don't, and it's noticeable, and it takes 3 days. So,
yeah. All right. That's fair.
Yeah.
I don't want to be grumpy.
Yeah.
I can't imagine not coming. So just to continue and the community and like Michelle said, it's because it's a combo, that's why I love it. Cause it's the weights and it's the cardio.
Yeah.
So it's a combo.
It's a blend of it all. Yeah. And then, so and this might be the last question we ask is, so looking around you guys, how much has you staying with this for a long period of time started to rub off on the people around you? Because that's one thing that I've noticed is as the gym owner, the entrepreneur, right? Oh, you still got that little gym? Yeah, I still got that little gym. That was the question for a couple of years, but now we're getting to this point where we're still doing this 10 years in, and now it's they're not, hey, you still got that little gym? It's now those people are coming to me and going, hey man, I just went to the doc and my numbers are not good. What do I do? And so now it's that point where I'm that guy in their life. and it's friends, it's family members, and they're to a point in their lives where like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? And so me staying in this for this long, they're like, well, you've been doing this for how long have you been doing this? Well, I was like, well, I mean, it's been my profession for 16 years now, but CrossFit for technically 11.
Yeah.
And because I've been doing it that long, people look at me and go, you're still doing that and you're not hurt. You didn't blow up your back. You didn't blow up your shoulders. You didn't blow up your knees. Like, maybe I should talk to you. And now I get to have those conversations and push them forward. And they live in places where they're never going to join here, but that's okay. I want them off the couch.
Right.
Right. And so like, I know like specifically for Laura, like, I know you've had a huge influence in the people in your life, specifically your kids.
Family.
Yeah.
My son's like, if my mom can do this, I better put my butt up and do it. And my family, my kids.
Yeah.
So they see even the grandkids now going, and they'll go, show us how grandma does that, lifting the little barbell. So
that's awesome.
Even if they're not doing that, they're aware.
Yeah.
And you have done it. And my sister's coming, and my cousin came here one time, and she's doing it back east, and she went and started, and just seeing that, and hopefully that like motivates, like, oh, I can do that even if I'm walking or.
Well, and like the impetus, it's been something that's been stewing in me for a long time, but now it's just like really at the forefront. It's like, so it's a Vince Lombardi quote. It says, leading by example is not the best way to lead. It's the only way to lead. And so like when you do something like this for this long, eventually people start paying attention. Right.
Yeah. And
so now it's like, you look around and you're like, okay, who am I influencing and how can I do that better?
Yeah.
So what about you guys? Like,
I've had tons of coworkers who've come in. They're like, I understand why you like it. It's not for me, but I'm glad that you found this space. There's one coworker that I have that was like, okay, I'm not going to do CrossFit, but like I will work out because I know you're going to the gym after like every day. So that's cool. But what's been weird is like I'm looked at as that like crazy CrossFit person, and like they are like, no, your fitness is way beyond me, which is weird. I don't feel that way. I don't feel like my fitness is way beyond anybody. I can't do more than 5 pull-ups. Like that's not way beyond anybody.
Yeah.
But then like last night, I was talking with some of my friends about rock climbing, and they were like, oh, I just like hit this spot, where I have to do a pull-up because there's nowhere to put my feet and I can't. And I'm sitting there like, oh, I can. Like, so yeah, I guess I am a little bit beyond. Like, so I don't know. Yeah, I keep inviting people and hope that, they eventually it sticks, but it takes a long time sometimes to convince people that something's worth it, especially when it's hard.
Yeah. That's true.
I don't, maybe over time I have, but for the most part, I don't really see any direct rub off, but that's okay.
Yeah. I think for you, like, I think eventually, like, I look at your kids, and I think that your intentionality and care of your fitness will eventually rub off on them. Right now, they're kids. They're like, whatever, right? Because even when you have 30-year-old kids, they're still 40-year-old kids. They're still a little stubborn about it.
Yeah.
But so sometimes, and I bring this up because we're 10 years deep, and we're just now starting to see it rub off on my mom.
Yeah.
And so like now we're seeing my mom's being intentional about, okay, maybe I need to not come home and eat a bag of cookies after work. Maybe I need to, on my days off, go ahead and go out for a walk. Like, she's not coming to the gym, but she's paying attention. And those little things over time start making a difference.
Yep.
And it's all because we just stuck with it. So
I even remember a time for Mother's Day. All right, you know what I want for Mother's Day? All of you to come and do Murph.
I remember
So
that,
we
the
had
whole
a
family,
Saturday,
yeah.
And they did partial or whatever, but just to get
That's
them out
cool.
there. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, that was a fun memory.
So last thing, any parting words of wisdom for people who are afraid to start CrossFit, or they're doing CrossFit and they feel like they're getting burned out? Like, what has been the thing that's kept you going for this long? What would you say to somebody who's not where you're at, but they're maybe on year 1, year 2, or maybe they're still sitting on the couch?
You know, this with anything is first and foremost, do you want to do it? I mean, you're not gonna do anything unless you want it. Do you want to do it? For those that are already doing it and are getting burned out, I would probably say you need to change your community. If and that just kind of depends on the person, but to me, it would just seem like if I'm getting tired of, if I'm getting burned out, if I'm getting this, that then probably the community, the CrossFit community that I'm part of, is maybe not a good fit for me. You know, so maybe is there a better, you know, maybe across the street, is there a better atmosphere? You know, so, you know, and I mean, it could just be you, you know, the fire burning out, but at the same time, you know, maybe the community. But the biggest thing is with any of this is, you know, either you're ready for the ride or you're not. And if you're ready, then you're not going to find anything more adaptable to taking you off of the sofa and getting you moving and progressing you through the system and essentially holding your hand the entire way than CrossFit. You're not. It's universally scalable. You can scale a scale. Yeah. If you can get your ass off the sofa and just walk in the door, we'll find a way to make you hate your life.
Yeah.
You get to share in the suffering.
Right. I mean, just, you know, hey, we'll roll you on your side so you don't drown and we'll know your time. I mean, it's just, but it is. CrossFit is no different than life. A lot of it's about showing up. You got to show up. And once you show up, then there's people that have already walked that path that will, you know, get you on your way.
Yeah. We were actually talking about it as coaches a couple of months ago. It's like, it's okay to have check the box days. Yeah. Like, just come in. You don't have to crush the workout. You can dial things back. Just get here and check the box for the day, because sometimes it's what you need.
Discipline.
You know? And it is. It really is. People are like, "How do you stay motivated?" I don't. I'm not motivated to work. Like, if I had to guess, 70% of the time, I don't want to.
I don't want to.
I don't want
But
to.
you know, it is, like I said, that one video, and I can't remember who it was back when we were watching all those power lifters and stuff. But the most important day of the gym is the day you don't want to go there.
Yeah.
And when you go there, you grab it and you rip the door off the hinges and you head in.
You go, and like, you just have to your point, you just show up.
Right.
Okay. Well, now we're going to do something. You're here now. You're going to do something.
Right. It's routine.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think but sometimes you're afraid to come in. Like, I was afraid to come because I had in my mind what CrossFit athletes looked like, and it wasn't me. Still isn't me, but it's just normal people in here doing their best. And then once you come, then you get addicted. Or I did. But my daughter just started too, and she's like, I'm addicted now.
Yeah. But you are a CrossFit athlete. Yeah. And she is, and I am.
Yeah.
I mean, the fact that you show up here and do it, you're a CrossFit athlete.
Yeah.
Are you
in my mind what an athlete was?
Right. I mean, you see the fire breathers and stuff and just realize that there's freaks of natures and then there's them.
Yeah.
Yeah. But what is an athlete? It's what you want it to be.
Yeah.
You know? just like you said, just
keep
show
going.
up. Just
Even when you don't want.
and yeah, and particularly on the days that has the movements that you hate the most, just show up. Maybe slash the tires of the guy that wrote it, but show up, you know, and reinforce the discipline that you decided to have to start.
We actually, I just talked about that with one of our members, is building a reputation with yourself that you're somebody who does what you said you're going to do. Like if you have the gym membership, or you know you want a gym membership, like, okay, go get the gym membership, or you have it, now you need to show up and be the person that, like, when you say like, okay, I'm going to come 3 days a week, I'm going to come 4 days a week, then do it and just honor your own word to yourself. Because then if you build that reputation of, well, I do what I say I'm going to do, now when you show up to the gym on the days with the movements that you hate, you're going to go, okay, I said I'm going to show up and I'm going to do my best. So I'm going to do my best today. Your best is going to vary day to day, but at least it's your best.
Right.
You know, and now you've built this reputation with yourself, which is where I think like motivation, like when motivation fades, because it fades fast. Motivation is a bottle rocket, you know, discipline is a diesel motor. You know, it just keeps you going on the days that you don't want to show up. The motor's still running, and you can get in and you can get the work done. And now you've built that reputation with yourself. You're the person that just, this, to your point, like, I can't see myself not doing this, because you built a reputation with yourself of, this is what I do. And I want to be this because I want to be like, this is my joke. When I get to the point where, you know, like people are like, oh, maybe it's time to start looking for a home. It's like, no, thank you. I'll wipe my own butt. Like, I want to be able to do that until the final day. Like, okay, so how do I do that? It's making sure that I take care of myself physically so that I'm physically able to do that until that day, you know?
Yeah. So the person that's burned out, or like, what is making you be burned out? Are you like trying too hard every time you show up? Like, you think you have to go 100% every single day that you're here?
That's a great point.
Are you setting goals that are super unrealistic with timelines that are unrealistic, and you're doing it because you hate yourself and feel like you need to prove that you're better than you think you are? Like, I don't know, what is it that's making you feel like you're burned out? And once you've recognized that and are willing to own it, come talk to Brandon. Like, I'm sure he has a solution for it. Because yeah, it's really hard. Like, you shouldn't try to push through burnout. Like, that doesn't work. You have to change something or you're going to burn out. Like, there's only so many fumes and then it explodes. So like, you're gonna have to address it in some way, and it can be an explosion or it can be a change of course.
That's a good point.
So the person that's sitting on the couch and thinks that they can't do it, or they're afraid to do it, or whatever that looks like, I get that. Like Chad is saying, recognize that you are making a decision by staying there. It's not like you're making a decision regardless. You aren't actually remaining neutral. And like Chad said, everything can be scaled. Anybody can do CrossFit. Yeah, you don't have to go to the games to be a CrossFit athlete. You don't have to hit huge world records to do it. Like, this is a good representation of what CrossFit athletes look like. Like,
yeah,
I don't know. That's what I'd say.
Right on. Holy. Well,
Right on.
For me, the last thing is thank you to you guys. Like, sticking with us for this long is a huge deal, and mostly because I know I look back, and when we started this, we were terrible at it, especially compared to where we are now.
Yeah.
And that's the point, right? The point is, you should be getting better. Like, CrossFit is about you getting better than you were yesterday. Better doesn't always mean faster or stronger, but better is better, you know? And so sticking with us through all those growing pains is like, for me, is a huge level of gratitude. So massive thank you to you guys. But also a massive kudos to you guys for committing to your health for this long. Because to the point of the statistics I cited earlier, most people don't. It's 6 weeks. It's 90 days with Billy Blanks. It's, you know, and then that's it. And then it's over. And they're right back into, well, this is just what I do. And they're back to the Twinkies and the sitting on the couch and the you know, drinking beers all the time, like whatever that looks like. That is things that we know. We all know those are unhealthy things for us, and we continue to do them anyway. And you guys have made a different choice. You have chosen, and this was the whole impetus for starting my own gym, was if you can make better choices, you can build a life you actually want to have. And it's the easiest place to start that is with your physical body.
Yes.
It is so simple. Does it suck some days? Yes. Is it hard? A lot? Yes. But that you're proving to yourself that you can do difficult things. You're proving to yourself that you can stick with it. That means that when real life stuff comes up, you're ready to handle that. Because you know you can. You've built a reputation of, I can do hard things. You know, when financial hardship hits, well, dude, I did all these hard workouts. Like, I can figure this out. I can deal with this. I can deal with the stress of this. And like, there's a lot of transference. And so for people out there that are like, man, I don't know if I could ever stick with a gym membership that long or a fitness regimen, like, these guys are a testament to that. Like, if you just choose better choices every single time, 10 years down the road, you won't recognize yourself because you'll be that much better. You know, you guys are a testament to that. This gym is a testament to that. Like, just inside, we've been in this facility since 2016. We've been in this facility since 2016. So what is that? 4, 5, 6 years. In 6 years, this facility looks wildly different than it did 6 years ago. And it's that constant growth but it takes showing up every day, and some days doing a little, and some days doing a lot, and some days crushing a PR, and some days being crushed by a workout and crying in the corner. Like, all of those things happen to all of those. Yeah. Listen, I've spent 8 years as a youth pastor. I have been cried on more as a gym owner than as a youth pastor.
But I want to kudos to you, because you're always concerned about us. You always want to be a better coach. You didn't stop in the garage. You're always training and learning and growing. So if we would be stagnant without your persistence and your discipline and your wanting to be better, and that rubs off.
So I mean, just watching the growth,
metamorphosis.
I mean, the metamorphosis, the growth, the maturity, the you know,
the selective immaturity,
the safety,
the desire to be better, to always, to always kind of chase the next level to provide a better experience, a better community. I guess in your, some of your other stated goals of just trying to provide a complete experience, not just physicality, but almost having a complete, lifestyle type experience, and willing to work with those and coach those and learn from others. And it's been great. And seeing seeing the way that people react, and it's been a lot of fun. People need to just come and try it.
Come and see. Come and see.
Just come and try. It's a never-ending journey, and I'm a prime example. I just, not really fire breather status, but wanting to be fire breather for so many years, and then I go through a couple of months where I can't freaking stand for more than a minute. And then I'm finally cleared and ready to come back. And now everything is shut down, you know, to the vid.
Yep.
And then everything starts to open back up. And now I've been deemed essential and I'm essentially, you know, nonstop working. So I can't get in. And now it's 2 years later and 40 pounds later. And it's just, you know, starting over. So if anything else to these people, you know, once you get going, just realize you're going to fall off, but you're going to have more knowledge when you get back on. And then you may fall off again, but you're going to have more knowledge. I know where I need to be. I know what I need to do. You know, I'm working on it, and not every day is the same. And you're going to be harder on yourself than anyone else. But if anything else too, just you get in with a good community, and hopefully this community.
Yes.
But
shameless plug.
Right. Yeah. What has two thumbs and is going to pump you up? That guy. You know. but you know, to reinforce, I guess, is, you know, the shady van is always there for you to get into to head back down the road again, you know? Yeah. So, you know, get up, get your shit straight, go again and do what you need to do.
Yeah. And just your persistence too. Like one time when I was pulling up, I'm like, we've been here 10 years, 8 years, 12. You've been here every day from morning to night, every class, you know, till recently or whatever, for years and years and years. So that motivates too. So I can show up to a class. He's been here since 5 a.m. till 10 p.m. Not just 2 days, every day the gym's open.
Yeah, it's just, and so many people are just not, I don't think, ever going to understand, you know, what has happened to get you here. But they just have to realize that getting here and, you know, essentially buy what you're selling is they're gonna be on the right track. Yeah. You know, as long as they're willing to, you know, pick up what you're laying down, they're, you know, you're not gonna go wrong.
Yeah. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. So thank you.
Thank you, guys. And we'll
See you in the box.
Yeah.